Hey everyone! Alright, let's dig in. We're reading the Federalist Papers. Truly great, learning a lot. Alright, let's just jump in. We are in 44 at the top paragraph. Every shilling with which they overburden the inferior number is a shilling saved to their own pockets. It is in vain to say that enlightened statesmen will be able to adjust these clashing interests and render them all subservient to the public good. Okay, alright, already, right off the bat, we're just going in. So, in vain, so it's like you're basically for nothing. It's not really gonna get what you want, it's not lasting. The enlightened statement, so the wise politician will be able to adjust, so manipulate and adjust, maybe up or lower, maybe these clashing interests and render them all subservient. So they all gotta serve the public good. So even the best of the politicians is going to have a difficult time quelling unrest when it's for the public good. Wow. Enlightened statesmen will not always be at the helm. That is so true. That is so true. You won't always have the wise man steering the ship. Okay. Nor in many cases can such an adjustment be made at all without taking into view indirect and remote considerations, which will rarely prevail over the immediate interest which one party may find in disregarding the rights of another or the good of the whole. Okay, so disregarding the rights of others and for society as a whole. The inference to which we are brought is that the causes of faction cannot be removed. The causes of factions can't be removed, he contends, and that relief is only to be sought in the means of controlling its effects. You get it? So you can't stop the cause, but you can have a pull in the effect arena. If a faction consists of less than a majority, relief is supplied by the republican principle, which enables the majority to defeat its sinister views by regular vote. It may clog the administration, it may convulse the society, but it will be unable to execute and mask its violence under the forms of the Constitution. Look at that. That is potent language. It won't be able to mask its violence and claim it's in the name of the Constitution. When a majority is included in a faction, the form of popular government, on the other hand, enables it to sacrifice to its ruling passion or interest both the public good and the rights of other citizens. Okay, that's just exactly what's happening right now. Why are high school kids reading this? So, if the majority is a faction, and they're the most in the government, many of them will enable people to forget about what's in the best interest of others and the public good. Well, their rights, so you'll override other people's rights. To secure the public good and private rights against the danger of such a faction, and at the same time to preserve the spirit and the form of popular government, is then the great object to which our inquiries are directed. Man, this is beautiful language. That's the problem when people they can't understand certain grammar or think outside their own head. So he's like, if you are going to secure the public good and private rights against a rising faction and not damage the spirit of your nation, you need to inquire and direct. Well, yeah. Let me add that it is the great desideratum by which alone this form of government can be rescued from the opprobrium under which it has so long labored. and be recommended to the esteem and adoption of mankind. Wow. Rescued from the opprobrium under which it has so long labored. By what means is this object attainable? Evidently by one of two only. Either the existence of the same passion or interest in a majority at the same time must be prevented, or, okay, let's see, the majority having such coexistent passion, put that in your political science vocab, or interest must be rendered by their number and local situation, unable to concert and carry into effects schemes of oppression. How often do we think of schemes of oppression? How often are we even looking out for that, or would know what it looks like if it did arrive? If the impulse and the opportunity be suffered to coincide, we well know that neither moral nor religious motives can be relied on as an adequate control. So, if that happens, even the religious people might not be able to control that. That's kind of scary if you think about it, but it is true. They are not found to be such on the injustice and violence of individuals, and lose their efficacy in proportion to the number combined together, that is, in proportion as their efficacy becomes needful. From this view of the subject, it may be concluded, okay, let's concluded what? That a pure democracy, alright, rule of the mob, as Plato called it, just kidding, that's being mean, populism, what everyone says, everyone has a vote, by which I mean a society consisting of a small number of citizens who assemble and administer the government in person, can admit of no cure for the mischief of faction. Admit no cure for the mischiefs of faction. So he's contending factions are by nature mischievous. A common passion or interest will, in almost every case, be felt by a majority of the whole. Oh, see that? Be felt by the majority of the whole. A communication in concert results from the form of government itself, and there is nothing to check the inducements to sacrifice the weaker party. So look at that. There is nothing to check the inducements. So there's nothing to hold them in balance. They can just way out there. The weaker party or obnoxious individual. Hence, it is that such democracies have ever been spectacles of turbulence and contention. That's why we are technically a constitutional republic in America. But today, people say we're a democracy without actually knowing the consequences of such a system that they think they live by. The mindset in which they think. So he's contending, you have a pure democracy, as he said. Remember, he said that a pure democracy, by which means a society consisting of a small number of citizens. Notice how this is like he's telling you what a democrat is for a democracy. Today, though, Democrats argue non-citizens should vote, and they don't even want you to have an ID when you vote. And now they're relying on machines that can be manipulated and hacked to vote, so they don't really care about democracy. And I mean, it's quite different. Wow. You can't control it. I mean, it is pretty chaotic. We're in a state of chaos right now. I mean, you can't argue with that. Have ever been found incompatible with personal security? Right now, the mob is literally not respecting people's private property rights because of their economic status, so he's right. Or the rights of property. Vandalization, just rampant looting and rampant destruction now. That's beyond its original meaning. And have in general been assured in their lives as they have been violent in their deaths. Notice how he says that democracy dies violently. Did you notice what that? You see? Theoretic politicians who have patronized the species of government have erroneously supposed that by reducing mankind to a perfect equality, see, he says by reducing, see that? In their political rights, they would at the same time be perfectly equalized and assimilated in their possessions, their opinions, and their passions. So he's saying you'll never have a perfect assimilation of anyone's passions or opinions. It's just not going to happen.